Welcome back, Inebri-art. It is your humble host, as always, Andy. And I think this might be a first. We're pushing 450 episodes, and I don't think we've ever had a puzzle designer. John Bromels, yeah. All right.
Yes.
Welcome to the show, man.
Thanks so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, I don't think we've ever had. I cannot remember. That doesn't mean anything. We have literally done so many episodes that we tend to forget things, but yeah.
Well, there are
So
not that many of us, so
no, we've had a game designer one time.
hmm.
Yeah. So this is in connection with a novel. Now, is this puzzle as in um like a brain twisting, get this nail out of this jar without using your hands kind of thing, or like jigsaw puzzle?
Well, it is more along the lines of the former, but
Okay.
it's more like pencil puzzles or like the things you would find on the New York Times puzzle page.
Oh,
So
okay, sure.
crossword type things, word
Yeah,
finds, mazes, so all brain games, yes.
yeah.
And there may even be a jigsaw puzzle style thing. I'm deliberately keeping it vague.
Oh, we're being vague. Okay, sure. I didn't
Yes,
want to give anything away, so
no,
yeah.
but those are the kinds of things that you can expect from Hive: The Race to Save Time, which is the name of the puzzle game that launches May 16th on uh, or it may already be May 16th after,
Yeah, it depends
runs
on when it goes
from
up.
runs from May 16th through May 26th. So, depending on when this episode airs.
um, I'm gonna ask a question. I don't want it to sound insulting because I don't mean insulting, but is puzzle making a full time gig for you? Like, is that can you be full time at that?
I have never been so insulted in my life. How dare you, sir? How dare you? No, it is not. And
Okay.
again, very few people design puzzles and games of that nature
Hmm.
for even part-time work. Even fewer are able to do it on a full-time basis. So
Sure.
yes, I have a day job that helps to pay the bills, and then this is sort of my other full-time job
Sure.
is doing the puzzles.
How does one get in? I'm assuming you are like a fan of like I very much like puzzles and brain teasers and learning things and magic tricks, which I feel are kind of like adjacent to puzzles.
Mhm.
Do you feel that also?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Many of the puzzle people that I know are magicians, so or at
Oh,
least
okay.
amateur or professionals. Yes. So yeah, I first fell into it. I was in fourth grade. I walked into my school library and I found a copy of Games magazine on the shelf, and that was back. This is going to date me, but that's back when Will Shortz was actually the editor of Games magazine before he moved over and became the puzzle editor of New York Times.
Okay.
And I opened it up, and it was an entire magazine full of pencil puzzles and brain games, and I was absolutely hooked from that moment. So that magazine was responsible for me never doing any schoolwork at all during study hall class
Okay.
because
Sure.
it's all your fault, Will Shortz, if you're listening. And I kept doing it. I kept up with playing puzzles and doing puzzles, and then I didn't really create. I created puzzles here and there, but it didn't really take off until 2017 when a friend of mine and I had almost the exact same idea at the same time, which was bar crawl with pencil puzzles. Uh,
Oh,
so
now you're
you go,
talking my language. All right. Go on.
so you go to a bar, you solve a puzzle, and it
Yep.
tells you where the next bar is. So
Ah.
he and I, this is my friend Jeremy Dubin. He and I met for lunch and we each had an idea we wanted to talk about with the other one, and sort of we had independently come up with very similar ideas, and so we kind of merged them together, and thus the puzzle crawl was born in Cincinnati, Ohio. And starting in fall of 2017, all the way through February 2020, we ran monthly puzzle crawls. So they were bar crawls with pencil puzzles. They were themed every month, and we were developing quite a following. We were getting corporate gigs, and the numbers were growing. We were getting more than 100 people at every crawl. And then a little thing called 2020 happened, and all the bars closed, and we kind of never got back into it, really. Uh, so I started doing other things, doing online things, and was fortunate enough to be on the team formerly known as the Team to Be Named Later, which wrote, yes,
the team formerly known as the Team to Be Named Later.
yeah, such a great
Please,
name.
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
please tell me that is the entire name.
They kept adding team formerly known as. So
Yeah,
I think it ended up as the team formerly known as the team formerly known as the team formerly, they kept
yeah.
adding things. But yes, and we were the host team of the 2024 MIT Mystery Hunt, which is the oldest and largest puzzling competition in the world,
Oh wow,
held every January at MIT's campus.
that's amazing.
Uh, yeah, and so that was January 2024. And then, because I'm a glutton for punishment, right after that, in late January 2024, I did a an online puzzle hunt for a different book. It was the Who Killed Icky $50,000 treasure hunt. So it was kind of the same thing, a series of puzzles. Teams of solvers uh, tried to get to the final answer. It was all based on the book. There were book lookups. People had to look things up in the pages of the book. They had to own the book in order to play, and that was very successful. We had uh, more than 1,000 people, actually approaching 1,500 people
Wow.
playing. So it was a good time, and I have been sort of doing other projects here and there since.
That sounds amazing. And yeah, the puzzle bar crawl. I feel like we need to have a conversation later. Um, if
Yeah,
you are
let's.
interested in bringing that back, because so I told you earlier that we are based out of Plymouth, Mass, and people tend to think of Plymouth Rock, Mayflower, Pilgrims. But what it really is there's two stretches of about a mile road, like kind of that run parallel. One is right on the water where the rock is, yada yada yada. The one is the next one up, and conservatively, there are 40 bars and restaurants along those two stretches of road, and bar crawls happen very regularly, and it is just a great is people in surrounding towns just go there for the night out, and it's a foodie place, and it's a lot of fun.
And those are the best places to have bar crawls. And we are always, when we were doing it, we were
Mhm.
always looking for those kinds of places because it it's harder than you might think to organize a bar crawl because
I understand completely. We
yeah.
do a scavenger hunt every year around December. We do a Krampus scavenger hunt. And initially, I'm like, I don't want people to bring me shit. So we send them with a list of like photo ops, and then
Hmm.
they go out and do the YMCA here and recreate a earthquake here, and shake a cop's hand, and all these little tasks all over town. And initially we're like, then we're just gonna hang out at a bar and monitor Instagram and track their points. It'll be it is from the second it starts, like we do not stop because people are posting photos, posting photos, and posting
Oh, you
photos.
don't start. Yeah.
It's super fun, but it is not as easy as I thought it was going to be.
And it's funny because that's part of the thing with puzzle design. Designing the puzzle is only part of the experience, and same with puzzle bar crawls.
Yeah,
Coming up with the puzzles, coming up with the theme is only part of it. I'm sure. I mean, this is true for any artist, right? Any artist who wants to support themselves, there's the actual creation of the art, and then there's all the stuff that goes along with it. So for bar crawls, it's you have to You have to get the bars, reserve space. You have to promote it.
Hmm.
You have to figure out how you're keeping score, how people are submitting their answers, what you're going to do when people inevitably get stuck and can't move forward. All of those things. And with puzzle design, it's also like that. You have to figure out, are there going to be hints? By the way, yes, Hivebook game, there will be hints, and we have multiple modes. This is something I have not done before,
Okay.
so but we're hoping that it will help people have a better experience. So one of the hardest things about designing puzzles is knowing whether you've got the difficulty level
I
right.
was gonna
So,
ask you about that because like I'm I can't tell. I don't know if you can tell, but I am a DM.
uh-huh.
And
The
I
beard gave it away.
it's like that or Civil War reenactor or a brewmaster. So those are
I
like the that's
I was
what
about to say brewmaster.
I know what I
I
look like.
believe it's illegal in the United States to be a brewmaster if you don't have a beard.
Yes, if you're male, there are female
Yes.
brewmasters, and they just have like a staple on one. But yeah, and there's like those kind of like dungeon puzzles and any encounter, you're like, it has to be the right
Mhm.
kind of because you want it to be difficult. Because there's nothing worse than just being like, oh, that was really obvious. Um, but you want that like my business partner is a DM too, and I'm like, you let the bad guys be bad guys. You want the people to feel heroic, you know, and like that must be the same thing when you're designing a puzzle. You want people to be like, oh, I'm the smartest person alive.
Well, we want it to be challenging,
Yeah,
but we don't want it to be like a difficult slog.
mm,
And of course the trouble is that point is different for many people. You know,
sure,
the teams who are doing the MIT Mystery Hunt every year, there are some solvers on those teams that are amazing. I mean, one of the folks on the TTBNL, team to be named later, Tyler Hinman, uh, fantastic crossword puzzle solver, and he can solve New York Times Saturday crossword puzzles in. I mean, I think one time he posted a time. We have a little group where we all post our crossword puzzle times.
yeah,
I think it may have been a Friday, and he posted a time that was something like 2 minutes and 57 seconds or something like that.
that's
That may even be long. And
crazy.
and he posts like, yeah, I was kind of slow today, or something like that. And I mean, just absolute brilliant crossword solver. And so for him, if I make a crossword in one of my puzzle hunts, because it's multiple puzzles, not just one, um, he's going to blaze through it like nothing.
Yeah,
And yet there are going to be other people who take 30 minutes to go through that same crossword because everyone has different skill levels. And so the question, and this is one of the big questions around puzzle hunts in general, is how difficult do you make it? Because you don't want the people who really do puzzle hunts, really love puzzle hunts because they're really good at puzzle hunts, and do them all the time. You don't want them to breeze through it in 10 minutes and say, "Oh, well, gee, that wasn't very much fun because it was over too soon. It was really easy." But by that same token, you want to bring new people in who may
hmm,
not be familiar with puzzle hunts, and if everything is calibrated to that mystery hunt level of difficulty, uh, then they are going to be stuck on the first puzzle and never advance. So what we are doing with this hunt, which, again, I've never done this before, and I'm interested to see how it goes. We're taking a risk. I'm hoping it pays off. We are actually going to have multiple modes for each puzzle, and you can play on an easy, medium, or hard difficulty. And the easy mode will feature things like more checks on when you're filling in a grid puzzle. Do how many of these letters that I filled in are correct? I'm going to hit the check answer button, and it will do an automatic check and light the squares up green or red. That's if you're
Hmm.
playing on easy difficulty. If you are playing on normal difficulty, you won't get that. If you are playing on hard difficulty, many of these puzzles won't even have instructions. You will just be presented with the puzzle itself,
Oh, interesting.
and you'll have to figure out how it goes. That is actually one of the hallmark of mystery hunt style puzzles or puzzle hunt puzzles. Is quite often there are no instructions. You are presented with the puzzle, and part of the puzzle is trying to figure out what you are supposed to do with the information that's presented to you. And what I found doing puzzle crawl, doing the bar crawls, is that people who are not familiar with puzzle hunts absolutely hate not having any idea what they're supposed to be doing. They
Hmm.
need some sort of guidepost. And I remember when I was new at puzzle hunts, I it was frustrating for me not to know what to do. And gradually, after doing it, it's like any reflex, any skill. You do it, you get a few under your belt, you sort of figure out how it works, and you get better at it. But I wanted to make sure that this hunt was accessible to new people. I didn't want there to be this invisible barrier that says you must be this smart to ride this ride. You
Yeah,
must
yeah.
know this much about puzzles. So we're gonna see if this actually results in better experiences across the board when people can choose whether they want to play the version with the instructions, the version with the answer checks midway through, so you can get an idea of your progress, or you can go for the no instructions, no hints, just uh, the full sort of puzzle hunt experience. If you are feel like you're ready for that.
I mean, that's such a good, smart thing because you're right. I mean, and there's that kind of thing with any event. Like we do a lot of art events, but like our beer mug painting is really for any level. We have a template, we make it super easy. It's just like a coloring book. But then we have figure drawing where there's no instructor and you're kind of expected to know what to do and bring what supplies you want. And so it's I think it's really smart that you have kind of like that. Even once people start on the easy level, then I think they'd be more like it is that kind of I just don't know what to do, that kind of intimidation factor that can be really
Yeah,
tricky.
and I have to give props to the author, D.L. Orton, the author of the book. So this will show you sort of the trouble you sometimes run into with trying to calibrate difficulty, because all of the puzzles are tested by people I know, and I always make sure to have them tested by people who are sort of beginner puzzlers and by experienced puzzlers to sort of get a gauge of how long this is going to take, how difficult is it for different people of skill levels. But the thing is, in order for me to know enough about you and to know that you are a beginner puzzler, you still have to kind of be familiar with puzzle hunts and have a certain level of familiarity.
Right.
So I tested the first round of puzzles with some beginner puzzlers, and they were all able to get through them in roughly the amount of time we wanted. And I sent them to the author, and she sat down to do them with her husband, and there were a couple where she said, I'm totally lost. I don't understand I didn't know what I'm supposed to do here."
Hmm.
And I thought to myself, "Oh, that's because even even sort of the beginner people who have been doing it once or twice or three times have a higher level of knowledge of sort of how this all works. You sort of have this baseline working knowledge. And sometimes it's easy for me as a puzzle designer to forget that and
Yeah.
to because I obviously I made the puzzle. I know how it's going to work, and I know that uh, there are people who are confronted with a grid and they're going to sort of say, "Oh, it's a grid of letters. I'm probably looking for words," things like that. But I have to remind myself that not everyone has that sort of it's almost like inside baseball. They don't
Yeah,
have that interior knowledge of how of these things. And so I really have to give credit to DL Orton for saying, I think we need to have an easy mode so that people who don't have this vocabulary already, this pre-existing knowledge of how these things are supposed to work,
yeah,
so that they can break in and have a good experience. And she was absolutely right. And I'm really glad that she called my attention to that, because otherwise we could have been in a pickle.
yeah. It's so funny and it's so easy to do. I think everybody has that disconnect in something. I remember talking with friends who were like big into horror movies, and they said something along the lines of Bruce Campbell being a household name, and I'm like, not really. And they're like, oh, come on, of course he is. And I'm like, my mom has no idea who Bruce Campbell is. It's
Yep.
like, and I used to work at Home Depot, and I'd be training people, and I'd be like, listen, if I start talking Home Depot ease, you have to let me know because I can't tell what's normal for people anymore. And it's I think everyone kind of has a certain area where they assume there's stuff that's common knowledge that just isn't.
And yeah, and it's easy to do. It's easy to if you are immersed in that world.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you don't even realize it, right? You pick
No,
up
not at
all of
all.
this
Yeah.
knowledge. You pick up all this knowledge just by osmosis, basically. You sort of
Mm-hmm.
absorb it. You never sat down. You never read about it. You just kind
Yeah.
of learned how it all works. And so yeah, it's important as a puzzle designer, especially to remember that there are, that the players don't know what you know. Um, the big thing, though, this is a common mistake. When we design puzzles, we are not rubbing our hands, cackling, and saying, "Ha ha ha! This is so hard. I hope nobody gets this one." No, we are designing these puzzles because we want you to solve them.
Yeah.
And so, if a puzzle is so hard that it is unsolvable, that's actually a failure on the designer's part,
Right. Right.
and it's actually a real disappointment. I remember for some of the harder puzzles in the MIT Mystery Hunt, we're sitting there sort of looking at the number of solves, and there are some puzzles that are deliberately, that hunt had more than 200 puzzles in it, of varying degrees of difficulty, because again we're trying to cater to a wide audience. And some of the more difficult ones, if you wrote that puzzle, you're kind of looking at it, sitting at zero solves and thinking to yourself, I hope somebody solves this.
Yeah.
Is
Is it
somebody going to
really
solve
that
it?
hard? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And you get really excited when that number starts ticking up, and you think, yes.
Yeah. That's again, I'm gonna compare it back to D&D. It's like the DM isn't versus the players, you know,
Yeah,
and it's I can see that similarity where it's like you want them to be challenged, but you want them to feel heroic or victorious or whatever. So
exactly. Because nothing is better. Nothing is better than having that moment of figuring it out, the moment of solving it. But in mystery hunt puzzles, or hunt style puzzles, whatever we want to call this style of puzzles, pencil puzzle. Um,
so I'm so I get the bar crawl, but what is a hunt style puzzle in general? Like if there's no drinks involved, why do I want to do it?
Well, I can tell you that from a scientific standpoint and from a personal standpoint.
Okay.
Um, so the hallmarks of a hunt style puzzle, and there are some of these in Hive: The Race to Save Time, and there are others that are more straightforward. But the classic hunt puzzle presents you with some information, whether
Mhm.
that's a series of clues, whether that is a grid of letters or numbers, whether that is uh, a series of audio files or video files. It could be anything.
Okay.
Um, it presents you with this information, and then there's a title, and there's a little bit of what's called flavor text. So the puzzle has a title. It has some a little
A long time
phrase up at the top.
ago in a galaxy far, far away.
Yeah, something like that. It could be that.
Yeah. You can use
And
that one. I didn't write
And
it.
you are looking at this, and you have to basically intuit from the title, from the flavor text, sometimes from the information that's given. You have to sort of play around with it, poke at it, say, does this remind me of anything? If there's clues, you might start solving them until you see a pattern. But eventually you get to what is called the aha moment. And this is something that everybody wants in the puzzle. And that's sort of the moment where the penny drops and you figure out how the puzzle works. You figure out, aha, these aren't just weird, random, Latin sounding names. These are all names of popes. You think, you
Oh,
say to
okay.
yourself, aha, these aren't just, let's see, these aren't just US cities. They are also the last names of famous people,
Yep.
or something like that. And the aha moment will give you, this is my scientific bit, it will give you that hit of oxytocin, which is the feel good chemical that you get. And that is why we like doing it. Because it gives us that
Uh,
chemical reward. That's
I
the
had
biological reason. But also, it's really fun, and you feel really smart once you've figured out, once you've looked at this and said, wow, okay, this was incomprehensible gibberish a moment ago, and now I've figured out how it all works, and I can finish solving it,
yeah.
and you move forward. And some mystery hunt puzzles are difficult enough that they have two or three aha moments were required before you can actually solve them. But that is the classic sort of hunt style puzzle, a lack of instructions, information, or some sort of presentation that you kind of have to work at, figure out, and then you get that light bulb over your head moment that tells you, aha, I know now, I know what's going on here.
I had an aha moment that I totally understand what you're saying now. We, me and my friends were big bar trivia people,
Mm-hmm.
and our buddy Jimmy was the kind of the trivia master, and every like it wasn't maybe like every other week or so there'd be like one section where all the answers were clues to another answer.
Oh yeah, 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 like a
And it
theme round.
was,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and it was like the second one, and we went up and we're like, here's this answer, and these are all Batman villains. And he's like, God damn it.
Yeah, and you felt, and the minute you figured that out, right, you
Yeah,
had
yeah.
this like big, oh, I've got it, yes
We're like, let's
moment.
go ruin Jimmy's day.
Poor Jimmy. My
Yeah.
apologies.
Don't. He was the reason why that, first of all, the teams were very competitive,
Mm.
but he was a great host because he would really interact with the teams in ways that no trivia host I've ever seen do. There was one question that was, I don't remember the lyric, but it was one lyric from a song, and you had to name what song it was. And he read the lyric, and my whole team was like, I have no idea. And someone's like, oh, it sounds kind of like an Americana rock song. I'm like Tom Petty. And they're like, yeah, yeah, yeah. And what was the Tom Petty song we picked? I think it was American Girl. Yeah, I think so. And
Mhm.
so like we wrote the answer down, total guess, brought it up, and Jimmy's like, "Oh, instead of just reading the answer, I'm going to play the song." He starts playing Tom Petty, "American Girl." We're high fiving at the bar. We're like, "Woo!" And then he goes, "Oh, I'm sorry, I hit the wrong button. Only one team getting this wrong." And like, it was just that perfect. Yeah,
Oh, boo.
yeah. So
Do you
he
remember what
deserved
it
it.
ended up being?
No, no idea.
Oh, yeah,
But then that became our theme song. You know,
yeah.
so you got to embrace the losses too.
Oh, there. Well, there you go. See,
Yeah.
that's the inspiration, and that's the other fun part of designing puzzles is you can make a puzzle out of anything. I mean, you can take inspiration from literally anywhere and make a puzzle out of it. Uh,
So I mean, there's kind of like I didn't even think of jigsaw puzzles, and you mentioned them earlier, and like Sudoku, and
mhm.
I mean, is that kind of, I don't want to say formulaic, but are there like certain standard, like this is this kind of puzzle, this kind of puzzle, word search, or can you like do you come up with completely newfangled, no one's ever seen this before.
When I am doing puzzles for a general audience,
Hmm.
not the devoted puzzler crowd, um, I like to take the classic forms like you just listed,
Yeah,
the word search, the Sudoku, and I like to kind of put them out there and then do like a little twist on them just
sure.
to keep it fun. So for example, in the Who Killed Icky hunt that I did, I took the concept of a word ladder, which is
Yep.
a series of four-letter words. You change one each
Hmm.
time to make a new word. Um, and I decided that I was going to knock it diagonally and make it a word staircase. So instead of being presented as a straight up and down ladder, it was a
Sure.
diagonal staircase. So
Yep.
only three of the letters in each word were overlapping, and that sort of
Yeah.
changed going down. So it was a word staircase instead of a word ladder. Um, but and that's fun for me. And actually, there are going to be some of those sorts of things I can say in Hive the Race to Save Time. There is a variant on Sudoku that isn't your normal Sudoku. There is
Okay.
a variant on a word find that isn't your normal word grid. But that's all I'm gonna say.
Sure.
I
Okay.
gotta keep it. I
Yeah.
gotta keep it vague. I gotta keep you excited, eager to go. Um, Eager to go to hivebookgame.com. Anyway, uh, for the devoted puzzler crowd, though, uh, I have done and I have to say, I do my best work when I am working with other people as co-authors, and I have to give shout outs to my co-authors on Mystery Hunt, Alina Kenkin and Brian Weiderman, who are fantastic uh, co-authors. So Alina and I actually wrote a puzzle, and the puzzle was called "This Space Intentionally Left." Well, you know. And the puzzle took you to a Google Doc,
Okay.
and the Google Doc was completely blank. It was a blank piece of paper, and that was the puzzle.
Okay. So my first instinct
Yes. Ooh,
would be that there's white text.
you are close. There was no text per se,
Okay.
but there were. But had you looked for it by trying to highlight it, yes, you would have found a bunch of spaces,
Okay.
blank, like space bar hit
Oh, okay.
going across.
Interesting. So I
Yes.
then I could at least go from there and be like, all right, now what the hell does this mean?
Yeah, you can go over there. What the hell does
Yeah.
this mean? Uh,
Uh,
I'll
if
just say,
would it be like a Morse code?
see, now you're thinking, and
Yeah.
you are well. Okay. Spoiler alert! If anyone is listening, um, Uh, yes, good job. Morse code was in there, but
Okay.
basically what we figured out. So, okay, I have to tell the story of this puzzle. I
Sure, sure.
briefly. This may be the only puzzle that has ever been written out of pure spite. Um,
I love Spite.
so we had written another puzzle, Alina, Brian, and I, and it was a puzzle about it was two restaurant menus,
Okay.
two like dueling restaurants, and they had each come up with a menu. And I had made the menus, I'd formatted them. And I just wanted to use like uh I wanted them to look different. So I had one and I just was looking at the Google Docs default fonts, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna do Oswald for this one and Satisfy for this one.
Hmm.
And so then the puzzle went into testing. And every batch of testers said, oh, the fonts are Oswald and Satisfy. That must be important. And I'm thinking, no, I just wanted them to look to the font. It's not important. And the first one, the font had nothing to do with that puzzle. And the first batch of testers put in that feedback that was like, we really wasted a lot of time looking at the font, trying to figure out what that meant. And I'm thinking, okay, well, that was just the one group,
Yeah, yeah.
probably an errant group. And then it went into for its second group of testing. And the second group of testers said, "Oh yeah, we noticed the fonts were Oswald and Satisfy, and it was really weird. We tried to figure out what that meant." And I said, "Gosh darn it, I'm gonna do a puzzle that's a complete blank piece of paper. And it's just like different font. The font's going to be Oswald and Satisfying. We'll see if they get that. We'll see if they figure out that it's a different font. It's just because it's spaces, you can't tell what the font is." So,
Oh.
and that literally became a puzzle. There was a lot more to it than that, but we figured out basically there are like 7 or 8 different variables that you can have in a blank space on a Google Doc that are sort of either or variables. Things like, is it boldfaced? Is it italicized? What is the font size? What is the font? Is it subscript or superscript? Like,
Yeah.
there's so many different things that a single character in Google Docs has to be formatted. And so we basically, yeah, we put this string in there, and you had to sort of separate out the variables, and it gave you answers when you applied things, including one which was in fact Morse code.
Yeah.
I can't remember. I think it was italics, because if you're typing out italics, the slash is the
Yep.
dash, and so we decided that italics was a dash, and a dot was a non-italic.
Okay.
So yeah, and by doing that pattern, you would get one thing. But if you did the is it bold-faced or not, you'd get another thing. If you did the what is the font size, that spelled out a message based on the actual like number, alphanumeric. So,
Oh,
so
so like
font size of one, it was A. If it was a font
a
size of two, it was B. Yeah. So we had all of these things sort of encoded in this blank piece of paper. And that was our spiteful puzzle. Uh, that
what was the average time that it took people to sort all that out?
Oh my goodness, I don't.
Or was that a timed one?
So the mystery hunt as a whole is,
Yeah.
I mean, it's a race. The first team to finish wins, and
Yeah.
the prize that you win is you get to host the next year's hunt.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Oh, it
Yeah.
is cool, but it means you're signing up for a year of backbreaking labor for no pay.
Oh, so you have to create the next.
Yeah, you have to create all the puzzles,
Oh.
create everything, and yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was probably the most fun year of my life was
Yeah.
2023, going into the January 2024 hunt. But oh my goodness, that was a lot of work. But yes, uh, puzzles can be anything. So puzzle can be a blank piece of paper. A puzzle can be triggered by pure spite, and a puzzle can be triggered by a friend. You're having a random conversation about nothing, and suddenly something they say, you go, "Oh, that would
Oh,
be
yeah.
really good." Yeah. So, uh, which is why actually I really have enjoyed working uh, with DL Orton on this hunt, because for me, if you just said to me, "Write me a puzzle about something,"
Yeah.
uh, it would be really hard. I would not know where to start. I would not know what to do. I would be a little lost. On the other hand, if you said to me, "Write me a puzzle. It's got to be about penguins. You need to mention different kinds of mustard, and the answer has to start with the letter Q." Um, that to me is like, oh yeah, I could do that. Okay, penguins, mustard. Let's see,
Yeah.
Dijon. Dijon's got a J in it. That's a weird letter. Maybe this is about weird letter. Yeah. So that is, I need some sort of trigger, some sort of thing to focus on.
I fully get that. It's
Yeah.
one of those things where someone's like, "Oh, draw me something," and you're like, "Well, what?"
Yeah.
And they're like,
Exactly.
"Oh, I don't know," and you're like, "Well, then I'm just not going to do it."
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know?
It helps to have a focus, and so I really have enjoyed doing this. Where I read the book, and the book provided so much, because there's so much in the book that is a lot of fun, and it's. I told her that, as far as I'm concerned, she has the nerd quadrifecta, or quintifecta, pentafecta in there, because
That's
she has
five, right?
in the book, yeah, five, because
Five.
she references Star Wars, Star Trek, wait, Star Wars, Star Trek, The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, Monty Python, and Disney movies, which are all big big puzzle culture, nerd culture things. And so I said, yeah,
Sure.
you managed to get all five in there. Also a Shakespeare quote. So really, it's
No,
just
no Lord of the Rings.
oh golly, was there a Lord of the Rings? I don't recall. You'll have to read the book to find out if I missed the Lord of the Rings reference. But
Yeah.
there was such a rich tapestry of stuff in there. It was very easy to find things to write puzzles about. And I will say, uh, there are no book lookups in this one.
Yeah.
I had originally had them in there, and D.L. Orton said, I want people to read the book, not to be flipping through it and looking things up. So I took them out, and the puzzles are thematically related to the book, but there is no lookup requirement to look in
So,
the book.
so I'm not implying that people shouldn't read the book, but
They should.
if
It's good. It's a good book.
but
I wouldn't say
if they haven't read the book, can they still do the puzzle? Like,
yes, absolutely. If you
okay,
have not read the book, you can still play the puzzles. Now, we do have a sweepstakes associated with the game, the puzzle game. And to enter that sweepstakes, you will need to either buy a copy of the book, which
yeah,
is just 99 cents for the ebook, or there's no purchase necessary. There is an alternate means of entry that you can fulfill to get a copy of the book for free. Details on our website, hivebookgame.com. But and Purchase will not increase your odds of winning. I have to say that.
okay, excellent.
Uh, so, uh, but if you have not read the book, you will hopefully get a sense of what the book is like through the puzzles, and hopefully you will be inspired to get a copy of the book because, like I said, it is good. It is a good book, and it's a lot of fun. And she has done a fantastic job of creating some really, really rich, interesting characters, and a lot of really situations that keep you engaged. So I can always tell when I'm enjoying a book. I don't flip to the end of the book to see how it ends.
Yeah,
My wife does that all the time, and I can't understand. I'm like, why don't you want to look at the end?
yeah,
But if there's a part of the book that's really particularly intense uh, or uncertain as to how it's going to turn out, I will find myself like speed reading, like it's kind of skimming and like flipping fast to the end of it, like okay, how does this end? Does she get out of this? Okay, she does, and then I'll realize that I've done it. I'll realize belatedly. I'll be like, oh man, I just okay, and then I got to turn back three
go
pages
back
and,
and
and do it slowly.
yeah.
And that happened to me multiple times while reading Hive.
Oh,
So
excellent,
that is how I know. That is how I know I could say that this is an engaging read.
nice. Um, man, I feel like this flew by.
Oh man, are we done already?
Yeah, it's crazy. Um, yeah, I definitely feel some kindred mind space with you. Like,
Absolutely.
yeah, I do love brain teasers and puzzles
It's
and
the facial
trivia and
hair.
games and the facial hair. Yes, we're both have rocking some fancy facial hair. Um, but please, absolutely, definitely want you back on the show at some point. Anytime you have something to promote. And I would really like to talk to you about some some Plymouth puzzle hunt crawl
That'd be
stuff. That would
awesome.
be a lot of fun. Um, but where can our listeners go to follow? You've dropped the website several times, um,
You
but
mean hivebookgame.com?
that is the one. But where can people go to find other puzzles or other things that you're working on?
Oh man, okay.
Do
I heard you say this on one of your recent episodes that the social media thing is so hard to keep up with, and
it's
or
brutal. Yeah.
yeah, and I'm the worst. I'm terrible at keeping things updated about myself. So I have a website. So the company that I run is Otherworldly Adventures. The website is otherworldlyfun.com, but Lord knows when the last time is that I've updated it. And yeah, I'm really bad about it. But if you want to find puzzles that I have written, um, one thing you can do is go to the MIT Mystery Hunt website, especially 2024's. I believe it is still available. I believe you can just still type in MITMH, that's short for MIT Mystery Hunt 2024.com. I think that is still operational, and you can find puzzles there that I have written.
Oh, cool.
I don't know if I can give you a list. You can find the This Space Intentionally Left. Well, puzzle is there. Also, the puzzle that my co-authors and I wrote that won runner-up for the best or for the funniest puzzle of 2024, which is called Two Outs, Two Strikes, and dot dot dot.
Okay.
Yes, it's a fun one. I also have there's an emoji crossword where the clues and the entries into the grid are all emoji, which is fun. I don't know if you have someplace I can give you like the specific lists or names or anything. Happy
If
to pass those on.
you email them to me, we can probably get them into the show notes. So
I can email those to you, and hey, I can probably even write you a custom puzzle and you can put it on your Instagram.
that'd be super cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
do
that'd be
that.
fantastic.
Let's
So,
do that.
all right, yeah, let's do that.
Actually, wait a minute. Wait a minute.
What?
I will write you a custom puzzle, but you need to tell me what should the puzzle be about.
Okay, I'm gonna have to think about it.
Oh, all right.
Oh wait, are we just gonna do it off the cuff?
Yeah, just do it. First thing comes into your head.
Okay. Uh, bats.
Bats.
Yeah.
Nice.
Uh,
Okay, bats. And then throw me some weird oddball thing that doesn't have anything to do with bats.
Albuquerque.
Ooh, okay. You're gonna get a puzzle. I'm gonna get you a puzzle. I gotta finish tweaking the site for this first because
Sure.
we are at the stage where we are fixing all the things,
Yeah.
making sure that we are ready. But once that's done, Bats in Albuquerque puzzle
Bats in
coming your
Albuquerque.
way.
Okay. Sounds good.
It's on. I better write that. I'm gonna write that down because I'm gonna forget. Otherwise, I'm gonna be like, I know it was a city.
And I'm gonna be
city
like,
was it?
I always say Albuquerque, but what was the other thing I said?
Yeah, because you always remember the unusual one.
Well, Albuquerque is one of those things. There's a few. Snorkel's one. Anytime someone comes up to me and says, "Hey, I have a question," I just go Snorkel or Albuquerque, with the idea of, "Hey, maybe someday that will be the correct answer."
That
Wouldn't
will
that
be the
be cool?
correct answer. Yeah,
So,
yeah.
So it has yet to happen, but someday.
Oh, one day though.
One day.
One day.
All right, listeners. So we have a puzzle to look forward to. This is very exciting. I can't wait. And they should check out you. They should check out the book. They should check out the website was again.
Hivebookgame.com.
There we go. And listeners, we will see you guys again next week. I think we've yet to record with DL, but I think that one's going to go up first. So I think that just makes more sense to me.
It does make more sense.
Yeah. So you heard DL last week, John this week, and then who knows what's going on next week. I haven't gotten that far yet. So, but we'll see you then. And thanks for checking out the show today, listeners. If you enjoyed the content today, you can go over to patreon.com/Inebri-art to support the show. You can join over there for just a few dollars a month and help us provide this fun content that you just checked out. You can also email us at Inebri-art.com with your questions, complaints, and concerns, or you can find us on all social medias at Inebri-art or at Inebri-art6 on Instagram. And also don't forget to check out our other shows, Bar Talk Podcast, Old Colony Cast, Inebri-art, and all the other shows on the Inebri-art Network, which you can find at Inebri-art.com. Thanks again for listening.